are having a Namaste to India from our US partners. So when somebody has to start doing CPA who is in India, so what is that value addition you are trying to put into that candidate when he gets an additional CPA degree?
I'm not sure if I'm the right person to answer these questions because he's the director of product management. So I'll just add to this.
I think chartered accountancy is the best first choice I can make. Fantastic. That is your career.
Namaskaram. Welcome back to Hip Talks. Today we are here at the Evolution of Accounting 2.0 conference, and now we have with us Mr. Benjamin and Mr. Mike, who has come all the way from US. So Benjamin, this is your first conference in India with Simandr.
That's right.
So how is your experience so far?
It's a pleasant surprise that so the conference went really well, and we're very impressed with the speakers and the presentations. We learned so much about the latest trend in accounting. So I think it's very useful for myself and also the audience as well.
So, and Mike, this is your first time in India. I mentioned it in an earlier video. So how is it like, first time in India?
Well, I feel like I'm just getting started. The conference was really first stop on a pretty whirlwind tour, so I'm excited to get to visit a number of cities. But honestly, the experience today was wonderful. The speakers, top to bottom, were excellent. I thought really brought an interesting diversity of topics and knowledge. And I thought the audience was fantastic. And as a speaker, that's something that's really important to me, is an audience that's engaged, a lot of questions. So fantastic, absolutely. Great start, great first impression.
So if you talk about Becker, the one thing which pops out is quality. So Becker is all about quality. How did you nail it so perfectly without any negative remark or anything? So you're like a 5-star company in terms of quality all the time.
I'm not sure if I'm the right person to answer these questions because he's the director of product management. So I'll just add to this. So I've been with Becker for over 11 years. So one thing that we're proud of and our focus is the student success. So sometimes we sacrifice short-term profits, but for a long-term student success, right? So the student outcome is our focus. But in terms of the details about how we make it happen, I'll pass it on to Mike.
Well, one thing I'll say for sure is part of how we nail it is because we believe we've never nailed it. We can always do better. So we're always seeking ways to improve it, and Ben's spot on. It's about what can we do to the course to make the student experience better. At the end of the day, we live and die by our students' success, and success is measured by, is it effectively preparing them for their exam, or is it effectively conveying new knowledge to advance their career, and is it doing it in a way that they find positive, right? So is it efficient? Is it an experience that they can look back at and say, hey, Becker did a great job for me? More importantly, then they'll share that same feedback with others and talk about, and that's also how Becker's quality reputation is maintained, not just by us, but by all the people that we've served, the hundreds of thousands of students that have taken Becker over its long history.
So thanks for the quick insights. And I hope you understand that we have an Indian CA recognized by ICAI. So when somebody has to start doing CPA who is in India, so what is that value addition you are trying to put into that candidate when he gets an additional CPA degree?
For people that are in public accounting in India, of course the first choice for them it would be a CA, right? Because that's the statutory requirements. But in terms of people that are not really into public accounting or audit, so of course they have alternative, right? So CPA is definitely one of the better alternative if they're not into Indian public accounting. So because CPA basically give them opportunities not just in India, but outside of India as well. So basically when you go to countries like, of course, US, Canada, Europe, Singapore, a lot of Asian countries as well. So there are a lot of opportunities for US CPA as well. So.
Yeah, I'd agree, and this is one where I'd say I think you're more expert than I am, but CPA, although it is a U.S.-based credential, it's one that's recognized around the world, and so I think, yeah, if you're looking for a broader horizon of opportunities, and I think it's one of those things that I don't believe you can ever fail to develop too much, if that makes any sense, or if I said that right. The idea being, even if you are a chartered accountant, does that mean you can't be a CPA or shouldn't? Why not? Again, it's just, that's another way of pursuing lifelong learning, of continuing to build that resume, of continuing to establish that you have broader expertise than you did the day before. So regardless of what you think today, and this is something I tell US students all the time, is coming out of school, you don't know yet. But you make the best, most informed choice you can first. But that can change over time. So if you say, hey, I think chartered accountancy is the best first choice I can make, fantastic. Then as your career evolves, you may decide, I think now CPA is a good second choice. Fantastic. Go that route as well.
So if you look at all the sessions today, every session touched a bit of technology. So technology is an aggressive invasion to touch upon everything. So how exactly are you trying to inculcate that technological layer in Becker in terms of the kind of education you provide, and even as a company, tech layer in your company?
Again, like this question has to pass it on to Mike because he has the intimate knowledge and experience in basically incorporating technologies in our product. So you can talk about all this AI technologies and all that.
That's quite responding to the growth, right? So we just in the last few months launched a partnership with Northeastern University, which is one of the premier universities in the United States dealing with artificial intelligence and developing a CPE regimen around that. But for our own course, this was something our president believes incredibly strongly in, is if we're the best in class and we want to adopt deep learning technology to improve that efficiency of the learning experience, we should seek out the best in that group. And that's why we partnered with an amazing company called Sana Labs based in Sweden that have really taken the bull by the horns, as we say, in educational AI. And we have begun kind of building that in and integrating it into our course experience. And the response has already been very positive from students saying this is great because it's giving me better insights into my proficiency in the course, not just my progress. So yeah, I would say both internal and external were definitely, and the diversity of technology that's happening out there.
So probably this question you must be answering. So there's a change in the logo of Becker. Okay. So if you could sum it up in a couple of minutes, what's the ideology behind the new logo?
Okay. So again, something that I can basically take 2 hours to answer that questions. But just to give you a good idea of why we're changing the logo, because I think Becker has been a very, I would say the perception for Beckers have been very traditional. But now, because we're dealing with a lot of younger generations, so we have to make Becker a little bit more fun, right? So, and basically more appealing to the younger generations. So that's why when you see the Becker logo, we have this, the yellow plus sign. So the yellow that we use is not just a simple yellow. Actually, it's called like the game changer yellow. Right, so basically it's a game changer for the industries, for the professionals. And also the blue that we use for our Becker name is it also means something different, right? It's not just blue, right? So it means it has an academic blue attached to it. So that means we're still in education. And also we keep the Becker name within our logo because we have a very, very, very strong brand as the Becker, right? So again, Mike, want to add to it?
You did a great, marketing would be proud of you. Did a great job. The only thing I'd add is the reason it's a plus sign is to symbolize we're always asking, and we want our students asking, and more. And Becker's always trying to figure out what's the next and more that we can provide. And that's, again, that idea that we're never going to be satisfied with the quality where it is. We can always improve. We can always do more. We can always do better.
So Mike, tell us about your experience with Simandhar, because you have multiple partners across the world. So does your dynamics change with different partners in different countries? So how does it work? How do your business collaborations work?
That's a very good questions. So when we go into different countries, we look at, of course, like the profile of the students, where the opportunities are. So the way we work with, for example, in India. So Simandhar definitely has a strong niche in terms of the corporate and also the personal touch to the students. And also as Siripa is actually the founders of Simandhar. So he's so passionate about teaching, right? So and this personal touch is kind of unique, right? And also we share the same thoughts or objective of basically helping the student achieve their goal in career. So, and that's why he's actually doing a lot more, not just to preparing the student for the exams, and also helping them to in terms of job placements, and in terms of like soft skill training and all that. So yeah, so we share the same, I would say, the values, right? So in terms of helping students. So
I would just add that, yeah, I think that passion for student success is a part of Becker, and I don't think we would partner. And in my experience, I mean, this is Ben's bread and butter, this is his daily life, but every partner that I've had the chance to interact with shares that passion. I don't think it would work as a partnership if they didn't share those core values. That, as you said, it's the values, it's what we hold dear about our students.
One final question: when you're developing your course content, because you understand that 10 plus 2 or K plus 2 curriculum is different for different countries again. So when somebody at 15 in USA would have a differential level of knowledge at 15 in India, so would you bring in that modulation or changes in your course content?
yeah, like to be honest, because our content are developed mainly for US students, and that's the reason why when we go to countries, we work with local partners. Like, because we don't really know the student that well in India from our US office. So, and then we have to rely on our partners to basically create additional value, customized to the local students, right? So, or localize our content for the local students, right? So, I think this approach has worked really well, like for a lot of countries, not just in India. So, and we'll continue to do it that way because that's the best thing for the students.
The other thing I'd add to that is part of the idea of integrating AI is to make the course as personalized as it can be. So one way we can also help to overcome where there could be differences in the foundation that student may have is to say, well, we're not going to deal with groups. We're not going to say an American student versus an Indian student versus a Chinese student. We're going to say each student is unique, and we should make sure the course can adapt to who they are, their particular strengths and weaknesses, and provide them a truly personal experience. That's our ultimate goal, and I think it would help, will help to address what differences may be out there.
The final question: how did you find the audience? Are they different from how they are in US or any other country? Indian audience?
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of opportunity to basically present in front of like American students because I look after the international market. But I would say the Indian students are not more interactive like compared to a lot of Asian countries. So I think, I don't know whether it's actually in the DNA or how they got brought up from the college, right? So, but I think this is a very good quality as an audience, also for students as well.
I was impressed. As one of the things that makes it easy for me as a speaker is an engaged audience that's giving me energy, and this audience had that. Asking questions, eye contact, clearly engaged in the discussion. And I was lucky, right? I got a bit of an advantage. I got to go first when everyone was fresh, but I didn't see that really wane even late in the day. They were still engaged in the discussion. They were still actively participating. I was astounded because honestly, when you talk about difference in audience, in American audience, if the stage were throwing questions out at them, it would be much harder to get anyone to really respond. But this audience, once they understood, okay, no, they're serious. They want our feedback. They were jumping in, which was great, and I think it really made the experience that much better for them and for the presentation as a whole. So yeah, I was very favorably attuned to my first Indian audience. So thank you.
I'm glad that you are really liking the experience here, and I'm sure that you'll have a lot of collaborations to happen in the next 1 week. I wish you all the best, and probably a final namaste for India. So we are having a namaste to India from our US partners, and thank you for watching us. Thank you very much.